Ashera.
And today we're hanging out with Jamie Doktor, who you're gonna love. So Jamie is a burlesque performer and she teaches burlesque, and she also just happens to have the most amazing brain in the world. So we're just gonna pick her brain today.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for appreciating me for my brain.
I love your brain and your beauty at the same time.
So let's cheers to that.
Oh,
cheers. Yes.
So we actually at Qween City are doing a whole feature on Jamie. All of the things. We've got articles, we took a class with her, and during the class, all I could keep thinking as she was talking to us was like, this woman is a goddess and the rest of the world needs to hear her goddess wisdom.
Oh, I love you. I love you guys. Yes, so you can check out a lot of Jamie's story in some full-length pieces, and she made us a Spotify playlist so she can teach you how to be a striptease master yourself, even if you're not Buffalo based.
That's right. That's right. I feel like people don't understand that they are goddesses as well. And when something strikes a chord that I say in people, it's because we have a special connection. That magical connection is what triggers those lights to go on and those sparks to fly and that feeling that overwhelms you. It's because the goddess within you is feeling the goddess within me. And that's what makes it so special, is that knowing there's power in numbers and that we're not alone, or we're not few and far between, but we're all around each other. It's just that I happen to have a really big mouth, and I don't really care who's around. I just say what I feel, and sometimes it just really it makes people overwhelmed, you know. And I'm honored to do what I do as a living. You know, I knew years ago that my voice was getting stronger, and that my power was getting stronger. It was always there, but just like a rose, it starts off as a seed. And as it is being nourished and cared for and growing slowly, though it's just maybe a tiny little sprout or maybe some leaves and a stem or just a tiny little bud, it's always still a rose. It's just in a different form and it's growing. So I want people to know that that's what happened to me. You know, I was always a rose. It's just that I was being nurtured and cared for. Sometimes you have to overcome a drought. Sometimes you have to overcome a storm. But you thrive and you flourish and you continue to grow.
Cool. Seriously, everything that you say, But Ashera and I were kind of talking about that recently, because in the pagan community, we look at the wheel of the year, which is like, it goes through the same cycle: plant, tend, harvest, release. And so a lot of the time people are like, well, why isn't my business growing faster? Or why isn't my project working faster? And it's like, are you trying to bloom in the winter time? Because it's the winter of your project. Why are you like forcing it? You know what I mean?
You can't tug on grass and make it grow faster. You gotta just like, you gotta chill and you have to rest, which is hard to do for people.
Right.
Yeah. So we talked a lot about those cycles. But yeah, so I guess when did you start to realize that you were growing?
Oh God, I mean, is there ever really a time that you discover it fully? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think that there are moments in your life that are a little bit more exaggerated or a little bit louder or more colorful than others, and you don't realize at the time that it's making a mark.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that as I got older, I just got sick and tired of being quiet or letting others control me, or just being passive aggressive, or just allowing people to get away with certain gestures or comments to make life easier, because nobody likes confrontation.
Yeah.
I like confrontation. I do. I really get a huge like rise out of it. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. But I think that, you know, I mean, I'm in my 40s now. I'm a mom.
I can't believe you're in your 40s, by the way. You look like you're 33 to me.
I love you. You know all the right things to say. But I think that, you know, you just get tired of letting everybody else walk all over you, or getting away with being a jerk to you or to other people. And you just gotta either decide, are you gonna let it go, or are you gonna stand up for yourself? And when I started doing burlesque, I was very self-conscious. I was not a sexual or sensual person at all. But I loved the concept. I loved watching these women just, oh my God, they were just so beautiful and powerful in their femininity and their grace and poise. And then they'd stare at you, and I was just like, oh my God, I love you so much. I want to do that. But I knew that I was not confident. I was not, in my eyes, I was not this supreme woman, you know, that just exuded confidence and power. So I went with the funny angle first, you know, because in order to do anything in your underwear in front of a room full of strangers, going with funny is easier because getting a laugh is a little bit less harsh on the spirit and the ego. So, you know, the more I would shake my butt, and I was a little bit heavier when I started doing burlesque, so the more I had to shake, I feel like the more money I would make. And, you know, I would just like be really silly, and I'd take my underpants, you know, and just like shove them up my butt crack, and everyone would be laughing. And I realized that no matter what I did, they loved it. And so as I became more and more involved in the burlesque scene, the more different you are, the more unique you are, the more beautiful you are to people. Because when they see a burlesque dancer on the stage with confidence and stride, they don't look at the fact that you know, aren't exactly like a Vogue model. They don't look at you as, you know, like the super Olympic trained athlete goddess on the stage, exuding these muscles sculpted, and, you know, your hair flowing and your skin flawless. They looked at all of those regular things and they thought, wow, this broad's freaking amazing. Look at how confident, look how funny, look how strong, look how sparkly and you know, magnificent this person is. They looked at the positive and not the negative. So I guess through the years, I just developed a habit of being strong and confident. And so every week I perform with the stripteasers, and every week I'm like, do I want to be funny this week, or do I want to be super sexy? Do I want to do dominatrix, or do I want to do like classic stripper? You know, it's like, and I just think of it as a business aspect now. Yeah. But I can do anything, you know? Like, do I want to wear one pair of underwear or 14 to cover up a camel toe? What do I want to do? And the choice is mine.
Yeah, it's amazing. I would love to know about like your journey as a dancer. Like, how did you get into it, and what has it been like? Like, how long have you been doing this, and just like what has your journey been like?
Well, I've always been a dancer, always, like literally since I was a little girl. My mom was a professional dancer, and you know, she had me when she was very young, so she never was able to pursue a career. But really, when you get older, what career at that time did dancers have? Yeah. You have, like, you know, you start at 3, you take your jazz tap, ballet, contemporary, and then your last recital is like, you know, senior year of high school, and then you have nothing. Then you're old and you're washed up. If you don't get into an academy or you don't become a dance teacher, you're nothing. That's what my mother was raised thinking. So she just sort of like watched me as a young girl and tried to live her dreams, but I wasn't like a standard dancer, neither was my mom. So she was the one that introduced me to Madonna and Janet Jackson and Diana Ross, you know, so like I would dance and I would just like freeform it, like I was just freestyling all the time. And my grandmother owned a restaurant, and it was like, you know, back in the 80s there was like the booths with the jukeboxes at the booths, and there's like these coat racks that you can like, they're like poles at the end of the booth and you can hang your coat. Well, I would go up to people and I would ask them for a quarter and I would dance for them. Be like, can you give me a quarter? I'll do a dance for you. I'm like, if you give me $1, it could be 2 dances. And then I'd split the profits with my grandmother. And here I was, I'd jump on top of the seat of the booth and I'd swing off the coat rack like it was a stripper pole. I'm like 7 years old, my hair was whipping all around. And I didn't realize at the time that it was just like, probably the seeds, you know, planted and the little rose was growing. And when I started burlesque, obviously I started the funny aspect, and this was over 14 years ago. I started the stripteasers over 14 years ago because I just wanted to do burlesque on the side when I was bartending at a bar called Roxy's, and I needed an extra night to work because I had no money. And I convinced the owner to let me get up on the bar during my shift and do a little striptease. And after a while, people started to come and watch, and they wanted to dance on the bar with me. So I just, of course, I'm like, oh my God, yeah, let's dance. You guys want to dance? Let's do it. But through the years, I didn't want to be funny anymore. I wanted to be stronger and more inspiring, because I noticed as I was dancing every week, the looks on the people's faces. They didn't look at me like they wanted to have sex with me like a stripper. Now, if there's anything wrong with that, because that shit is work, okay? That's work. I just don't feel like working that hard. But when they would watch me, they looked at me like they wanted to be me. They wanted to do what I did. And there was no shame in those eyes. There was no judgment in their eyes, because they got to see it firsthand. They're like, oh my God, that's amazing. So after a while, you know, through the years, I started teaching the classes, and I would teach people how to do what I did. And I was changing lives. Like these people, everyday, regular people, just needed a moment to shine. Just one moment to look at themselves in the mirror and touch their arms for the first time. Like, when's the last time you ever, like, who does this? Who touches their arm, right? So when you give them the opportunity to do it, it's life-changing. It feels good to feel good about yourself and in your body and in that moment. So, I mean, as the years go on, I just, I want to share all of my experiences with people. I want them to feel that power. I want them to know that they have it. And they just got to give themselves an opportunity to feel it.
And so many people don't.
They don't. Well, when do we have time? You know, nowadays everything's so fast and, you know, like current. And I mean, if something is viral on social media last week, nobody remembers the week after. You know, like it's just like, you only have like 15 seconds of fame, not even 15 minutes anymore. Like it's over before you know it. And people are working 2, 3, 4 jobs just to make ends meet. You know, like they're just trying to keep up, and there's so much pressure just with everything that people don't have the opportunity to take time for themselves and be still within themselves and just enjoy that rhythm of the heart that's beating inside of you. Like, we don't follow along to our life rhythm, and it's so important. And if you're running against that rhythm, you're always going to be off a beat. And that's imbalance.
Yeah. One thing that really struck me from, like, I've been watching you do burlesque for many years now, and seeing burlesque shows around town, is like the body acceptance that is a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Where, and it, like when you're speaking about like touching your body, like enjoying your body, and just saying like, well, this is the cards I'm dealt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, people can change their body as I do with tattoos and pink hair and stuff, but you're dealt with a certain set of cards, and enjoy it instead of standing there and being like, dude, please don't see me naked.
Right.
Like being like, nope, I'm here, I'm naked, and you're looking at it, and you're gonna enjoy this. So
yes, that's the best thing about burlesque. It's watching somebody that obviously doesn't fit that ideal mold that you think is perfect or beautiful. And when you see somebody that's against all of what society tells you is perfect, enjoying herself and looking like she is just the most beautiful creature in the universe, and you watch it, you either long to be like that, you're a little jealous, you're a little upset with yourself, that you're so hard on yourself, and you're obviously somebody else that, you know, is so opposite of what you thought was perfect, just really feeling beautiful and getting the applause from the audience.
yeah.
When you see a woman just completely lose all inhibition and just shed all of that brainwashing and stigmatism and just enjoy the moment, that's the most beautiful thing to watch and enjoy in the world. When a woman is trying to feel pleasure, it's hard. It's hard for us. It takes a long time. Sometimes we get distracted. We gotta get in the zone. We gotta channel and just, you know, get in that spiral until the funnel starts going on, and then you can find the perfect angle. But the only way to do that is by literally shutting out everything around you. Even if you're in the moment with your lover, even though there's this beautiful bond and connection, you know that by allowing that person that you're bonding with to just separate from you for a moment while still connected and have him or her watch you, just relish in the moment. That's the bond. That's the beauty. It's not about whether or not your lover or your partner can do it for you. It's about allowing that person to enjoy watching you be one with yourself. That's the power of femininity. That is the excitement and the titillation and the revving of the engines from the audience. The audience knows that they are honored and privileged to enjoy watching you enjoy yourself. It's like really intense, you guys. It's really intense. That's why I always have a shot of whiskey waiting for me after I do my dance. Because there's a lot of pressure sometimes. There's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
So would you say that doing a burlesque performance is almost like a meditative act for you?
Sometimes.
Depends what kind of
Yeah, I mean, because we do a lot of performances and we do a lot of stuff with themes or fundraisers, awareness, you know. So if like there's something like a major political event going on, like, you know, the presidential election, we're gonna like channel our inner like feminist rage, you know, and we're just gonna like do something outrageous and wild. And I wouldn't say that's meditative or meditation. It's more like just a release of power and getting your voice out there, using your body. And there's other times where, you know, I just got my period, but I know people just pay to cover. They know I do a show every week. I just gotta get up and do it, you know, suck it up and go. But I think overall, yes, because as the years went on, I realized that I could be all these different personalities. And I could dance to every song I've ever liked. And I could wear every color wig that I've ever wanted to wear. And I could be different personalities. And I thought it was an escape. And I thought that it was pretending to be all these different things, or enjoying this different scenario.
But
Just,
really it's you.
it really is. That's the thing. I'm like, no, this is a part of me. I'm just letting it out. So when I do dress up as Frank from It's Always Sunny, it's because there is a part of me that is Frank. You know, like I know that when I did the dude in the Big Lesbowski, okay, the stripteasers put on, when you get lost in the moment sometimes, too, because I am forced to do these shows. I mean, I don't want to say forced, but I'm obligated to do these shows as a professional performer. Sometimes I have so much going on in my personal life that I don't have to think about anything for that few minutes of my song and my dance. I'm just in that moment. And it's a really great form of therapy for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess it's kind of like meditating.
In a way.
Yeah.
If you're, I mean, I'm not a meditator person. Maybe I should incorporate that in my practice, but if you're being your truest self for that moment, then you're finding that sort of peace. I don't think that it has to be the same, like just finding that stillness, finding your true essence.
Right.
Even if you're shaking your ass. But
Absolutely.
yeah,
I don't-
stillness while ass shaking. Yes.
Exactly.
And
Like,
even stillness.
it's like stillness in motion, you know?
Yeah.
Just because, you know, people they're so conditioned to think that meditation or, you know, anything, music, art, should be one standard thing. Meditation doesn't have to be stillness, eyes closed, you know, thinking silent thoughts. Meditation is a pause, a channeling, you know, from one thought to another, one feeling to another, energy to another level. And if it means that I have to literally twirl my tassels like helicopter propellers in random people's faces, hey, it paused me. It kept me still from just thinking about all the stress of that day. It really can be a form of meditation.
Yeah.
See?
Yes.
No? I know.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like what Ashera was saying. It's like a moving, and that's an actual term, like a moving meditation. So like for different women who do different things, for example, I'm not much of a burlesque dancer, obviously, but sometimes when I'm making my art, like I'm doing stuff,
Yeah.
but like I'm zoned out of my usual train of thought and
Right.
I'm just channeling it into that art form. And I feel like that's what you guys are doing.
Yes.
And I loved what you told us during our class about how the woman's body, like the uterus, is the whole universe. Can you talk about that again? I don't even know if you remember what you said.
Oh, I remember because I say it in every class.
Okay.
This is the center of the universe. People either want to be in it, or they want to cover it up, or they want it. They want to hold it down because there's power there and they know that they are weak and they are not strong. But everybody's drawn to this area. This is where life, you know, this is where we all started. We were all here. And at one point, we came out into this world through a woman's legs. And that is sacred and powerful and beautiful and barbaric. Okay, I was there and it was, it's not pretty, okay? Beauty is not pretty, you know? And I think that people don't understand that. Sometimes when you are exhausted and sore and tired, and I was pushing for hours and hours and this little baby was ripped out of my body, it was beautiful. It was not pretty. Okay. But when people see me moving a certain way, and you're stirring those hips, or you open up those legs when you're on a chair, I mean, the rush that the audience gets, because they know, we all know that there's this power there. I really feel that this is where our strength is. This is where our soul dwells. You know, obviously the heart is beating, but when we get aroused and excited or worked up, we get there's a separate pulse in there. There's a separate beat, and it's just as strong as that heart. It's just that, you know, it's not constant. It has to be achieved. You have to work for it. So I really love when people come into the class because it's a safe space. You know, we don't have big picture windows so that way people on the street can see what we're doing. It's sort of off the beaten path, and we close the doors and it's private. And I make those people stare at themselves in the mirror, and I watch them stirring those pots, you know, stirring all of the powers and the potions in their cauldrons. And I watch them being able to seduce and hypnotize themselves. And they see themselves moving for the first time in a mirror, watching themselves move like that. There's so much power there. And I don't want people to feel ashamed or to feel degraded or judged when they move like that. It's beautiful and it's natural, you know? I mean, I don't recommend doing it in the checkout line at the supermarket. You could, but you're gonna get looks, you know? You gotta like deal with the consequences, but sometimes I tell them when you're waiting for the macaroni to cook, stir the pot and then stir the pot. You know, like just let it just work its way out.
I love that.
Yeah, that's true. What else? What else you got for me?
Well, I mean, one thought that I had is when I look at you guys performing, like as a witch, to me, and as an artist, when I look at you guys, I'm like, you guys are casting a spell on stage.
Absolutely.
Like, do you kind of feel like that's exactly what you're doing?
Absolutely, yes. The strip teasers are, oh my God, like, we know, we all have an understanding of the power that we possess, and we understand that we are able to release different angles of those powers. We know when the season is right. We feel the energy of the crowd, and sometimes we'll captivate the audience when they least expect it. Sometimes people just think they're coming in for some casual drinks and conversation, and then they're, you know, they see the girls getting up and getting ready to dance, and you know, they'll look and go, what the hell are they wearing? Where am I? What is going on? And then as soon as the eye contact is made, and you know, Delilah or Medina will stare at you, and that music just overwhelms and washes over the entire room, we know that we've got you. And no matter what they thought, everything changes. And we can literally invade their spirits. And it's incredible. I mean, it's a rush. It really is. It has become my choice of, you know, drug. I really love it. But yes, we all have that understanding. We know it, but we're also respectful. Because when you play with magic, you've got to be responsible, no matter what. And any spell that you cast must be done responsibly and with love. And so we do that. Even when we hate what's going on in the world around us, and the turmoil and the frustration, whether it's, you know, degrading women, or, you know, we're fighting for our reproductive rights, or the friggin', you know, pipeline bullshit, and, you know, like nuclear threats, and the powers that be, and the greed, and the money-hungry, you know, scumbags are trying to take over the world. When we express how we feel, we show it with love. And we show it with compassion, even within our rage, to let them know that we are here, we're not going anywhere, and our voices will always be heard. whether we're here on this planet or not, whatever we're saying at this moment is going to strike a chord with you, and it's up to you guys to carry that wisdom on when we're not here. You know, I mean, it sounds so deep, and then if you come to a show and you just see like silly little butt cheeks bouncing in your face, you're like, wait, this isn't that like super like deep talking intellectual witch that you had on your show. But that's the point, is that it doesn't have to be serious all the time. Like, I know that even when I'm in drag and I'm dressed up like George Michael and I'm playing a saxophone to Kiss Whisper, you know, it's awesome. R.I.P. George. But when we do those silly things, it's just as powerful and just as meaningful. But yes, it is casting a spell every time. I love it.
I feel like I've seen shows that you guys have put on in response to things that were happening in the world.
Oh, always.
And every time I'm always just like, this is so fun and so playful, but this is what I'm going to think of when I'm making decisions around this issue. Like these artists and these women creatively infiltrated my mind in a way.
Yes.
Like about, you know, these issues, and it affects the way people move forward after seeing it.
Absolutely. Sometimes if you're too serious or too strong or too forceful in your the way you convey your message or your opinion, your agenda, people get turned off. They literally will turn off their receptors to you, and they will not engage any longer. You've got to be really crafty with your craft.
Yeah.
You gotta know how to be likable. You have to learn how to be present and to know when it's too long, when it's too short. How are you going to get your message across and keep the audience captivated?
Yeah.
Obviously, using my body, my sense of humor, my sparkles, my boas, it's fun. We're human.
Yeah.
We like to watch sparkly things and pretty little ladies dancing around because we're innocent inside. That's a natural part of being human. And so, because that's my platform, I use it to my advantage. So I'm gonna be super sexy or super crazy, and then I'm just going to pull the Bible out of my vagina and set it on fire. It's cool, you guys. But my boobs though, right?
That escalated quickly.
Jeez. Always. Yeah.
What would you say were some of your most powerful performances?
Oh. I've done all kinds of crazy things, from, for shock value as far as props go, I took a giant balloon that was probably, I think it was probably about 5 feet in diameter, and I just, tossed it around to a pretty little song. I think it was like a Slayer song, but as a child's lullaby version, okay? And I took the balloon and I opened it up and I put my head in it. So then my head was this giant bobbling balloon. And then when I pulled it off, I just squished it down and sat down on it and let my hair just blow in the wind, like I was on the beach or for a Sports Illustrated swimsuit cover. And I think the audience didn't know what the hell was going on. They were like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But then I also get very political. So we just did a big fundraiser for Planned Parenthood a few weeks ago. And I came out in almost like a military type uniform power suit. And I had, the Bible with money coming out of it. And then I slowly but surely reached in between my legs and pulled out a hanger. And then with that hanger, I went back into my legs and I pulled out this giant red silk scarf. Because, you're going to try and ban abortion. You'll never be able to get rid of abortion. Yeah. But it's whether or not you will make it safe for these women to get them done.
Yeah.
Do you want women to die getting them, or do you want them to be in a safe and professional environment? So, you know, there's things like that. But obviously, I use the sexual seduction, you know, reaching into my legs, and I look like I'm just so hot. But really, it's because I'm about to pull out some rage, you know. Yeah, I've done it all. I've done, you know, drag, I've done androgynous. I do things to make people feel empowered and beautiful about themselves. You know, I love all my performances, even like, you know, a classic instrumental, and there's just a couple of gloves being peeled off and a boa twirling around, and then the bra accidentally falls off. I feel that's powerful as well.
How did that happen?
I mean, I've done so many dances through the years. Like, there's so many. I really couldn't even tell you, like, what's the most powerful. Because I really feel like everything has a purpose at that moment, but it's all blurred into one.
Mm-hmm.
But I get nuts sometimes. Like, sometimes I get, you know, like when a couple of the members of Pussy Riot were thrown into prison, you know, I, you know, will come out, and I had a sign, and it said "Free Pussy Riot" on the big, you know, poster board, and then I ripped it, and I just had "Free Pussy." You know, like it was like these things, like, you know, like you just got to know, like, we got to fight for these women, even if they're on the other side of the world. Like, there's power in numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to get the attention of the audience, and then reward them with shaking my boobs in their face. Because, I mean, that's just what you do. You know, everybody likes a nice reward. Everybody likes a happy ending.
Positive reinforcement.
Yes. Cool. Yeah. Girls, it has been an absolute delight chatting with you.
This has been amazing. Thank you so much.
I am honored. I feel like the magic within all of us is like just flowing right now. Don't you feel it?
It is
Can you feel it?
fantastic. It is
Feel it?
fantastic.
Yes.
So that's our episode, guys, and please go check out all of Jamie's awesomeness. Where can we find you?
Okay, well, you can find me at the Buffalo Burlesque Studio.
Right here.
Right here, that's where we are right now. And you can check out buffaloburlesquestudio.com, and it has info on classes and location and phone number and all that jazz. You can email me. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. You can also check me out with the Stripteasers every Tuesday at Nietzsche's on Allen Street. The show usually starts around 11-ish, but if you come a little bit early, get a good parking spot, you can enjoy the sweet sounds of Joe Donahue playing piano and singing some cute songs, and then we get right up on that bar and start dancing every Tuesday night. Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you
so much, Jamie.
You guys, thank you. Cheers, ladies.
Cheers.
Yes.